I have three main policy ideas. One, ban the bottle. I will ban the sale of all plastic water bottles at the University of Michigan campus. Growing up in Bangladesh, I don't really understand why my mom had to boil our water twice before she put it into the pitcher. But 14 years later, I'm better able to understand the hardships that come with not having access to clean water. And it is my dream to help end the effects of climate change. And that starts with getting rid of all plastic water bottles. 2, let's change the cycle. The last time you went to a public restroom, how much did you pay for the toilet paper? Nothing, right? What about for the soap? Again, nothing. So why is it any different for period products? Period products are not a luxury, but a basic human right. They should be free here at the University of Michigan and everywhere else. Is that time? Okay. I just want to finish it off by saying the University of Michigan is my home, and I'd like to make a positive difference here.
This campaign is about making CSG 2019-2020 more accessible, more visible, enabling more student connection to the projects that CSG works on, ensuring that the issues that CSG handles, that the issues that CSG touches on from the voice of the students are elevated to the highest levels of the administration, and that we work with CSG, other student organizations, and other students to fulfill these issues and to elevate their passions and their platforms. Thank you. And I think the most important thing to acknowledge before I answer specific concerns of the students and those of parents as well is to thank and acknowledge the effort of the first responders who handled the situation and got onto the scene, and also recognize that although the threat was not a real threat, it's important to recognize that for many on campus, specifically the Muslim community, the effects of the potential active shooter were very real. And the impact of that event was really real, so it's important to make sure that we acknowledge that reality. Secondly, to address your question more specifically, an integral part of Isabel and I's platform, and something that CSG campaigns last year didn't touch on, but we thought it would be very important to touch on, is making sure there's an active student voice connected to DPSS and ensuring and advising them on ways that they can handle emergency situations on campus.
I'd like to also start off by thanking the first responders who were able to get to the situation and help resolve it quickly. But that being said, I'd also like to say that there is no place for hate in the University of Michigan community. And what the students had to deal with on Saturday should not have happened in our college community, and we will take the proper steps to make sure that responders are able to get to the situation quickly when necessary. But that also comes at a bigger stage when talking about diversity on our campus. Diversity is a big issue in the University of Michigan. And at the same time, while we are the leaders in best, we are not the leaders in best when it comes to diversity. And that's an issue we need to all work to resolve. And that comes with working with CSG and the administration to take proper precautions and steps to solving these problems. As CSG president, I want CSG to host more cultural events. At least one cultural event every year where all students can come together from different ethnic backgrounds and share their ideas, share their traditions, share their culture, so we can all get education from it. I was actually there at the strike on Friday, and the University of Michigan, our carbon neutrality goals are the least ambitious of all the Big Ten schools. And then again, that needs to change. We need to work with our sustainability efforts and organizations that are already on campus, such as Planet Blue, to increase and bring back some of the commissions that were already enacted by the president, such as the Presidential Commission on Reduction of Greenhouse Gases. One of my main policies is also to ban the bottle. Banning plastic water bottles on campus, although it may seem like a small step, increases student awareness and brings all students together to increase sustainability efforts in our community. And at the same time, it's part of a much bigger plan and a much bigger structure which pushes a lot of emissions from trucking and manufacturing into our communities. I would like to continue to work with the administration to push our carbon neutrality goals, because currently OSU I don't like OSU, and I don't think many of you do either, but their carbon neutrality goals would reduce waste fully by 2025, whereas the University of Michigan will only get up to 40% of their 2006 numbers, which I don't think we can do here. So let's fix our sustainability initiatives at the University of Michigan.
And obviously the climate strike raises really, really important questions about the future of the environment and how the University of Michigan, both students and the administration, can play a role in ensuring that we are taking actions that are supportive of the environment and understand sustainability. What Isabel and I and the Engage Michigan team put in our platform was the goal of reaching a 5-year sustainability plan while we were in office, understanding that just us two and our administration won't understand how to best tackle issues related to the environment sustainability alone, and want to involve other campus organizations in the conversation, bringing them together to present to the administration a full 5-year sustainability plan that handles these issues. More specifically, and some more tangible fixes we can make in the short term that is written in our platform are, for example, the low-waste grocery shopping guide, which will allow students to understand how to best shop in an environmentally friendly way around campus and within Ann Arbor. Further, we can incentivize compost. We can create incentives for students living off campus to purchase compost bins, so they have easier access to recyclable materials and have easier guidelines to understand how they can recycle, even though they're not living in university housing, where there are already some of those initiatives. Furthermore, we can work to incentivize students to not buy plastic bottles, and I think that's a great point and a great project that you bring up, and working towards eventually becoming a plastic-free campus. I think that's a very strong point as well. But ultimately, I think from the crux of our sustainability platform that Isabel and I and the Engage Michigan team created is working with the student body and with the students most invested in this issue to find a comprehensive solution that we can present to the administration that puts our university on the track for sustainability, for positive sustainability in 5 years. Thank you. And this is a really, really important question because the University of Michigan continues to fail its diversity report and continues to not show adequate representation of students of color in various invisible and visible identities. CSG can play an active partner in advocating for to the administration for important equity initiatives and ensuring that students at Michigan feel welcome and well represented. Specifically within CSG can work to ensure that the voices of University of Michigan's marginalized students are continuously elevated, that we are not allowing the stories and the perspective of students to be drowned out by their lack of proportionate numbers and relative to the university population as a whole. A specific instance in CSG this year that showed how CSG is working at the student level to help ensure diversity initiatives are continued throughout the school is the Students of Color resolution within the Assembly that mandated that CSG representatives attend student of color organization meetings at least once a month. From those smaller initiatives, we allow the greater Michigan community to understand the perspectives and experiences of students of color and other marginalized students at the university, and can work through that understanding to understand the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion on our campus as a whole.
I got a question from one of my friends. He asked me if the color of my skin has affected my experience so far at the University of Michigan. And sadly, the answer is yes. It is not enough for the university and our community to want more diversity. We need to celebrate diversity in our community. And CSG needs to play an active role in pushing to celebrate diversity. As president, I think I've said this before, but I would like to push for more cultural events, at least one every year, where different ethnic organizations can come together and put on performances and share ideas and educate our whole community. I would also like to work with the different student governments, the engineering student government, the Rackham student government, and the LSA student government to push for more race and ethnic requirements in their classes. So all students are trained in this. Because in the 21st century, it is essential to have these skills to interact with people of all colors, all genders, and all backgrounds. I'm also very interested in promoting more programs like PCAPS. That's the Prison Creative Arts Project. It pushes more diversity on our campus. It pushes more ideas to flow through. Students learn from different people of different backgrounds, and that is one of the most essential things we should learn as the leaders invest at the University of Michigan.
Specifically, an area of campus where we think there hasn't been enough resources towards mental health at North Campus, and obviously today a wellness center opened on North Campus, but specifically working to ensure that there are CAPS representatives consistently on North Campus able to be serviceable to students. That North Campus, although not where most students at the University of Michigan are often present and taking classes, is still a part of the University of Michigan, and it must be ensured that those students living up there and taking classes up there have the resources at their disposal, specifically in the issue of mental health. Within CSG, continuing the work of the CSG Mental Health Task Force and important projects, notably the Cognito program, which is a new internet-based program that helps with mental health bystander intervention. That's been brought up in the CSG Mental Health Task Force, along with working with the university to find more emergency counselors to service the needs of students, because currently the wait times for emergency counselors are extremely long, and oftentimes there's only one emergency counselor from CAPS able to help a student. And the bottom line is, in a time of emergency, when a student is experiencing a mental health crisis, one of the worst things that the university could tell them is to wait. We need to make sure that we have all the resources at our disposal to advocate for these students and make sure that they have the resources they need to have the best Michigan experience possible.
Why does CAPS still have such a long wait time when you go and make an appointment? We need to increase the number of counselors available in all schools around CAPS. So I know that North Campus just opened a wellness zone, but are those massage chairs going to do anything if there are no counselors available for those students to talk to? So I went over to CAPS and I spoke to Kenesha Payne and I asked her what the wait times were like. How would it be different if the students can make appointments online? She said the wait times were about 6 days, which is much different from what I've heard around campus when I spoke to students, which they had to wait up to 1 month to get an appointment. Also, I'd also like to work with the student governments around campus to destigmatize the mental health and get more awareness around all these schools and colleges, especially within the School of Engineering. I'd also like to make CAPS available online, so students can get onboarded with CAPS, find their paperwork, all of that online, without having to go into the office and make an appointment and wait that many days before they can even get in contact with someone. So those small steps will lead a bigger change at the University of Michigan, because mental health is a big problem here, and we need to go at it one step at a time.
Thank you.